Good afternoon, everybody. It's time to get started with our KWConnect overview here. Before we get started, I want to make sure you guys can actually hear me. So if you'll look up near the very top of the screen, you should have these same 5 buttons that I do. If you'll click on this one just to the left of center that looks like a speech bubble icon, that'll open up the chat window here. And I would appreciate it if you would let me know whether you can or can't hear me right here. Something like that. There we go. Number 9 says they can hear me. Beautiful. I'm going to leave this chat window up right here so we can see any questions as they come in. And this chat window is where you're going to send me any questions that you have as we go through the class. Anything that you're unclear on, anything you'd like me to go back over, anything that I may have accidentally skipped, definitely let me know there in the chat window so I can get that back up there. Okay, so we'll minimize that. And you know what? You'll have to forgive me. I am a little bit unprepared here. So to get started with KWConnect, the easiest way to get there is to get logged into mykw.kw.com. You can log directly into kwconnect.com, but in our experience, it's about 50-50 whether it's actually going to work properly. The easiest way we found is logging in through mykw. So let's get in there. I guess this is good time for those of you that aren't logged in to get logged in as well while I'm doing it. All right, so from our homepage on kw.com or mykw.kw.com, we're just going to go up in the very top black menu and click on Education. That takes us directly into KWConnect. And where it takes us here is the Keller Williams University page. And we are going to be covering this in just a little bit. But for now, let's click on the KWConnect logo up here in the top left. Actually, is this going to take me back to the KWConnect? Yeah. Either one of these here. It used to be just one image here. I don't know why they separated them. But if you click on the KW logo or the word Connect, that'll take you back to the home page here. And this is where we're going to get started. We're going to cover this top to bottom, and then we'll move on through the menu and through the profile and things like that. So starting at the top here, we do have our menu to access everything that's in KWConnect. I want to point out over to the right of the menu, you see this little magnifying glass icon. That's pretty universal for search. Pretty much anytime you see a magnifying glass, maybe sometimes binoculars, that means search. So if you click on that magnifying glass, it's going to pop out a search box in place of that menu there. And you can also click that magnifying glass again to hide it. So if you're on any page besides the home page and you want to search for something, you can use that magnifying glass there that replaces the menu. Here on the home page, though, you do have another search bar that's going to be right here at the top under the menu. So on the home page, you have 2 options to search. This is going to be the most common one right here, the one that's actually on the page. Underneath the search bar, by the way, we'll get more into searching and finding stuff and details about that in a little bit as well. Moving down here, we've got this slideshow of essentially kind of internal ads from KW. So it's information about there's looks like a podcast or a stream or something from Gary and Jay, Think Like a CEO. So you can listen to that now if you want to. There's the tech tip of the week. There's, what do we got here? Bold is starting for the fall soon. And then we've also got Mega Camp starting next month, a little over a month away. So that's going to be the information that KW International feels like you need to see first. Underneath that, we've got latest in tech. This is what everybody is concerned with for about the past 6 months, is what's going on with Command, what's going on with Kelly, what's going on with the new KW app. And this is where you're going to find that information. This is the development team for all of those platforms that are sharing what's going on with all the new stuff in Lab. So if you want to learn about what new features are available in Command finally, and things like that, this is where you're going to find that very easily, is right here on the Connect homepage. Under that, we've got featured videos that I believe are just going to be the most recent videos. I've never been able to confirm this, but this is my belief here, is these are the most recent videos from KW International. So this is Secrets of the Pros, Contact Step 2, Cultural Summit with Mo Anderson. Man, I wasn't even sure she was with the company anymore. So this is, again, from KW International. You can also switch to audio files from KW International, files that they have shared and links that they have shared. Now, if you come over here to files and links, this is going to be from both KW International and KW Associates. But back here on videos, you have the option of seeing just stuff from KW International or just stuff from other KW associates. Anybody that's a member of KW can share stuff here in Command to help others build their business. That's the point of it, is education and sharing and business building from KW International to associates and from associate to associate. So you can share your content in here if you think it's going to help somebody else build their business. Scrolling down here, we're getting into some of the less important stuff here, but this Connect Live here is the schedule of the next live classes. And I believe, yeah, these times are all central. So right now, apparently, if you're not in this class, you're in this class right here, the Drag Drop Delight. Kind of wish I could be watching that, but I have to teach this class. I'll go back and watch the recording later. It should be here on the homepage eventually. Jim's market update is going to be at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Ben Kinney talks about how he built his team. He is a big producer. And he is going to be tomorrow at 11. And then on Friday at 3, there's going to be, or tomorrow at 3, gosh. And then Friday at 3 is also the latest in labs. And then there's upcoming courses from the KW Connect calendar. This calendar does pull from all KW offices across the US and Canada. So if you want to find an event that's not going on in your market center, but you're willing to travel, you can find pretty much anything that's going on in KW here in the calendar. And we'll cover more about that in a little bit. Lastly, down here at the bottom, we've got trending searches. So this is what people are looking for. Inman Select, I'm not going to cover that. Recommendations from KW International, and then spotlight of one particular video from KW International. So that's our home page. We're going to go, we're going to come back up here to the top. And before we go through the menu, I actually want to cover one big thing over here. Oh, but actually before we get to that, you see this upload button here? This is where you can share your own content here in KW Connect. So if you have a recording of the way you use a script for buyers or sellers and you want to share that here for others to use, you're welcome to do that. If you have a listing presentation template that you think is awesome and you want to share that with everybody for them to make their own copy and tweak it for their business, you're welcome to do that. If you have a recording of a phone call, maybe where you used a script, maybe with a family or friend, just role playing, and you wanted to share that here, you can do that. And then you can also share links to external resources that are not in KW Connect, maybe out on another site like Inman or YouTube, or actually your videos have to be on YouTube to share them here. So Inman or maybe Realtor.com or something from Zillow or something like that. You'd like to share with other agents, you think they need to know that, you can post that here as well. So when you click on upload, you're going to have eventually the option of which one are you sharing. Is it a file, a video, or a link here? Now this file that you're sharing, it's typically going to be in something like that listing presentation or a script or something that you're wanting to share here. Okay, lastly, next to upload is this little circle here that's either going to have your picture or kind of nothing in it. And if you hover over that and click on My Profile, this is something that I wanted to make sure to cover. It's kind of important. This is the profile that other KW agents are going to see when they're looking for you in the referrals section. And that's either here in KW Connect, on Kelly, or in KW Command. And if you want to learn more about working with referrals, we do have a class specifically about referrals, and that's going to be, when are we next doing that class? It is me teaching that class. I just need to know when it is. Referrals, groups, and chat. That's going to be on the 31st, so the last Wednesday of July. Typically, we do that on the 5th Wednesday of the month when there is one. It's going to be referrals, groups, and chat. And if you want to refer back to a recording of that, always available at slmtraining.com. So this profile here, starting at the top, you do have a banner image here. Again, this is for other agents to see. This is not for clients. It's not a marketing profile. It's a referral profile for other agents. So you've got this banner at the top, got your picture right here. And as we scroll down here, there's going to be an About Me section, some statistics about your production, and then your service area here. You're in control of pretty much all of that, and I'll show you how to do that. You would either click on where it says Change Photo or here on Edit My Profile. These are both going to go to the same page. On this page, starting at the top, this is where you can upload a new picture that goes up here in the top right and in that circle on the profile. I don't know why I clicked that. And There are no recommended sizes, but if you want to stay consistent, Command does recommend 360 by 360 square. So if you want to do that in Command and across all of your KW profiles, that's typically a good idea. Under that, we've got that banner image, the one that stretched across the whole page behind my picture there. I do want to point out, if I hover over the little eye icon here, it lets you know that the required dimensions are exactly, precisely, has to be these numbers and nothing else, 1920 pixels wide by 313 pixels tall. It has to be exactly those dimensions. It can't be 1919 wide. It can't be 314 tall. It has to be exactly these numbers here. And if you want to learn how to make your image that size, there we go. We do have some instructions for that, sending that to you there in the chat window. Oh, there's a couple of things, or one thing in particular I forgot to cover before we got started. This class is being recorded, and it should be available hopefully in just a couple of hours at slmtraining.com. That's where you can find all of our training videos recorded, slmtraining.com. If it's not there today, at the latest, I should have it up there tomorrow. Okay. Moving down the page, contact email, pretty self-explanatory. I don't know why they have two phone fields here. I would assume maybe this is for your cell and this is for an office or desk phone, but you can have the same number in both of those. Service area is you get to type out where your service area is. And again, this is not customer facing. This is not clients going to be able to see this. This is other KW agents. So you want to share your actual service area, not every area covered by your MLS that you could potentially work in. You want to share where you're specialized for other agents to actually see and send you referrals for that area. So say, you know, I lived in, say I was back in Pensacola, that's where I got my KW start. Say I lived in North Pensacola, almost to Gonzales. Typically, I'm probably not going to be working over in Destin or what's that called, Santa Rosa Island or things like that, because I am so far away. I'm not usually going to be working in those areas. So if I were to put stuff like Destin or Milton or things like that that were way far away in here, I'm not actually a specialist in those areas. I'm not necessarily knowledgeable about the market in that area and what's on the market and average prices and things like that. So I wouldn't want to put Milton. Even though my board covers Milton, I may not want to put that here because other agents that would send me referrals to Milton, I wouldn't be able to serve them very well. And guess what? I wouldn't get any more referrals from that agent or in that in my area. So you want to put your actual real service area here, not what you think and hope people are looking for, like you would do on a profile, on a public client-facing profile. Here in your biography, again, this is other agent-facing, not client-facing. So you may want to do a different biography here in this spot than you do with your other clients. Maybe talking about your successes with referrals, your history, you know, how well you're going to work with these people's referrals as they send them to you, rather than the same thing that you would put with clients. You're welcome to do the same when you put in with clients, but you don't necessarily have to. Under that, we've got social media links here. These do need to be the entire http:// blah, blah, blah link. It needs to be the full link in these boxes. And if you need help finding what those links are, I just sent you some instructions that we have for that, click by click, exactly how to find all of those links that would go in these boxes here. Excuse me. Under that, we've got this box for custom tags. Again, reminder, I'm going to say this a lot, this is not client-facing. No potential clients or customers are going to see this profile or are going to know or see anything about these tags. These tags are for the content that you upload here into KWConnect. So for a very simple example, say I was a listing specialist on a team. And I only worked with sellers. I only worked, pre-listing and listing presentations. And if someone brought me a buyer, I would hand it off to the buyer's agent for the team, the buyer specialist for the team. So in this custom tags deal here, I would probably be sharing things like listing scripts or FSBO scripts or how to land a FSBO or something like that. Those are the kinds of things I would put into the tags here. I wouldn't put buyer scripts. I wouldn't put buyer brokerage agreement. I wouldn't put showing tips. I might put open house tips because I'm the listing specialist, but I wouldn't put showing tips here in the custom tags. This is what's actually relevant to the content that you're sharing here in KWConnect. Under that, for primary market center, if you're a member of just one market center, this is moot. You don't get to select a different one. But if you're a member of multiple market centers, you would want to select the one that you do most of your business in. And don't ask me why. I haven't yet found where that goes. Under that, for email frequency, this is asking how often you want to get updates about the activity with your content and the people that you're subscribed to here in KWConnect. You can subscribe to different content producers such as Jay Papasan or John Davis or Gary Keller, things like that. You can subscribe to people's content so you'll get notified every time they upload something. And how often you want to be notified of things like that is either weekly, daily, or each and every time something changes with either their content or your content. There's no way to turn this off completely. You do have to have one of these options here. And then down below that, we have these profile display options. That's those statistics that were in that green bar under the About Me section, talking about, your production in the last 12 months and how long you've been with KW and things like that. And you can turn each of those on or off individually. Now, about 75–80% of the time, what we're seeing is even if you turn something off and you update it and you go back to your profile, it's still going to be there. And we're not sure what causes that. The only ones who have any access to try to fix that is KW International Support. So if you need help fixing that, definitely let us know and we can get you that contact information for KW International Support. Where was I? Okay, once you've made any changes to this profile, you can click Update either down here at the very bottom or up here at the very top. They both save everything that you do here on the profile. Okay, moving up here to the top menu. If we hover over memberships, we're going to have the option to see what divisions of KW that you're a member of. So I'm actually a bad example here. I should have logged in as Scott, but it's supposed to show your memberships. Well, this is talking about joining different divisions of KW International. So if you want to bold, what is that? Expansion coaching, KW commercial, global property specialist, land, luxury, things like that. You can get information about those here in this section. And that's basically the same page as this, I think. Yeah, essentially. Young professionals, land. Okay, coming over to calendar, we're going to spend a good bit of time here. What time is it anyway? Okay, we still have plenty of time. Okay, coming here to the calendar, like I said earlier, this is pulling events from the Market Center intranet for every market center across Canada and the US. I don't know if it counts south of the border, but for sure Canada and the US. So if you're looking for any event going on at your market center or any other market center, you can find that here in the calendar. What I've got in place here is what's going on in my market center, and it's apparently filtered by the event types. I don't remember selecting this, but if I apply filter here, I'm just going to see everything that's going on in my local market center, which is going to be York, Pennsylvania, which is the most recent market center that I'm a member of. Eventually, maybe. All events, yeah, apply filter. It's supposed to be showing me this. You know what? I'm going to switch over to Scott's account because this seems to be working better for him. Let me go do that. Okay, back in education. Eventually. There we go, back on calendar. By the way, I'm going to get rid of this cookies message here. That does pop up every single time you visit KWConnect, just like it does in Command, because it's legally required by the GDPR in the European Union. Okay. So what we've got going on here in Scott's is if I click on advanced filters, this is apparently showing all MC events because it's green. I don't know what these filters are saying, but what am I going to do there? So let me exit this here. So what this is showing is every event in every market center. So there are about 30 things going on this past Sunday. Where are we? Actually, the Sunday of the 30th. where are we here? Today there are over 100 things going on. Typically you're going to see over 100 things going on across all of KW. And you don't have to try to click on this and try to scroll through everything that's going on. You can filter it down by what you're looking for. 71 pages of roughly 20 things. So that's a lot. So if we go back here, you can search for specifically the name or instructor or topic. You can search for the city, state, or time zone that you're wanting to look in, or a date range. You can also use filters up here to narrow it down to just your market center, your region, just KW International. Let's see what's going on at KW International this month. So let's uncheck everything and just see everything that's going on over in Austin this month. So let's see, on the 15th, they've got MC Success in the Office, there's Franchise Systems Orientation, there's Train the Trainer and Train the Presenter in a couple of weeks. I did the Train the Presenter, that was nice. I don't know why they did Train the Trainer. Wait, yeah, Train the Trainer is the second one. I don't know why they did that first. So if you want to see what's going on in just your market center, you would check that box and then apply filter. Eventually. Apparently there's not anything going on in my market center, so it's showing me all market center events. Weird. Or this is maybe a glitch and maybe we need to report this. But if you want more information about a particular event that's going on, so if I click on like the CGI call here, this is scheduled, should be scheduled in every market center. This is going to have information about what this is. So CGI call at the St. George Market Center starting at noon. Michael Wiest, I'm assuming he's like a tech coordinator there, is going to be hosting that call. It's in Utah. So you can mark yourself as interested in attending this, basically adding yourself to the roster for this class. I'm not anywhere near Utah, so I'm not actually going to click on that. But if you were in this market center or planning to go over to this market center, you could click attend to let them know that you're interested there. Okay, jumping over from the calendar. Before we leave the calendar, I want to make sure to ask, it's not super clear sometimes, so if there's anything you have questions about, definitely let me know there in the chat window. If you're not sure how to open that, that's up near the top of the page screen. You should have the same 5 buttons that I do. Just to the left of center is a speech bubble icon that opens up the chat window if you want to ask me any questions. Hopping over to resources, we're not going to click on each one of these here. I'll just do a summary basically of what's going on those pages. Connect Live is like we saw on the home page. This is where those live things that are going to be broadcast here in KWConnect, you're going to see the schedule and you're going to be able to access the recorded ones there. Welcome New Associates is going to have a lot of information about getting started with KW, getting started with technology and marketing and things like that. Let's see, culture is going to be how you as a KW associate and how KW as a company interacts with people. That's my definition of culture as far as KW goes, is how do you and your company interact with people, whether those people are other KW associates, your co-broker across the deal, your seller, your buyer, your community, your friends and family. The way that you interact with those people is your culture, basically your character, and that is defined for the way that KW wants to and is supposed to interact with people here on this page. Events is going to be the big ones, the ones that go on from KW International. So what's going on in Austin, family reunion, mega camp, red day, masterminds, things like that. You can get more information about each of those by clicking on those. Industry is how KW International and you guys as KW associates are affecting the real estate industry, how to work with copyright, working with data privacy, information about the do not call registry and fair housing. So you can get more information about that there. Keller Mortgage, I'm not sure if this is going to be available for everybody, but this is going to have information about getting started with Keller Mortgage, about what Keller Mortgage is and why it's a plus for both your buyers and your sellers. It's really great for sellers. It's a great negotiating tool. Where was I? Where was I going with that? So if you want more information about Keller Mortgage, you can find that here. KWU is where we started. So when we clicked on education here, it took us to the Keller Williams University page. KWU is the abbreviation for that. And you can find information about any of the official courses put out by KW International. So Ignite, Lead Generation 3612.3, what do we got? MREA, let me just go in here, click on courses. The 411, Shift, that was the one I was trying to think of. And you can find information about all of the courses, there's several dozen here, provided by KW International. You can find when they're next scheduled, where they're next scheduled. You can find materials for those classes. You can find videos and summaries about those classes. And if you want to learn more about any one of those, you can just click on them. By default, it's going to be sorted alphabetical, so you would find like Ignite down here where the eyes are. If you were to sort it by popular, most popular, of course Ignite is going to be at the top of this list here because it is the most popular KW course, and it should be. It's supposed to be. Okay, MAPS coaching. If you want information about getting into group coaching or individual coaching or mastery coaching, you can get that information there. Marketing, I do want to definitely click on, because you can find KW logos here. You've got a listing presentation template besides the one that's in eEdge. You can get Red Label Clothing, which is KW's clothing line. You can get Outfront Magazine, the KW magazine, press release templates, social media tips and tricks, and resources for leadership. One thing I want to point out in particular is if we click on logos and branding, very first thing on the page here is the identity and style guide, and this is very important. You definitely want to click on this and download the PDF and read through it, because it has the rules and regulations for how you are and are not allowed to use the KW logo and the KW name on your marketing materials. It has prescriptions for sizes and colors and fonts and things like that, the way that you are allowed to use the KW logo on your business cards and signs and flyers and websites and things like that. So you definitely want to check that out so you don't accidentally get in trouble with KW for using it incorrectly. Under that, we're going to scroll past these bullet points here, and I want to cover the Market Center logos section here. If you want to find a logo for your particular market center rather than just the plain KW logo, this is where you're going to find that. You would just go in this box and type in your market center's number. So like 196, that's where I'm from in Pensacola. I could also do the name of the market center. So there's Gulf Coast there, that's Pensacola, and then there's Alabama Gulf Coast. It's kind of a sister office across the water. And then if ever your market center is not listed here, geez, I can't find one that's not here, 117? I don't know. If ever your market center isn't found here, and it's going to have most of them, but a lot of like the Canada market centers and several places kind of up in the north don't have a logo listed here. Unfortunately, there's nothing really that you can do about it except to contact your market center leadership and have them request a creation of a custom logo via kwredlabel@kw.com. This has to come from your MCA or from your team leader. They have to email them and they can create a logo there and stick it on this page. You can't send the email yourself. You can just ask your leadership to do that. Oh, by the way, once you find your market center number or your market center logo here, you can download that. It's going to download a zip file with a couple of dozen different formats of the logo. There's going to be EPS files, PNG files, JPG files, AI files, things like that. And if you don't know what any of that means, that's fine. You can actually just send that entire zip file to your designer if you're working with one for your business cards or signs or anything, and they can use the appropriate format for what they're building for you. There is one in most of them in the zip file there's going to be several folders, and then outside of all those folders is going to be essentially a JPEG of your market center's logo, the one that you're most likely to need there. If it's not outside of the folders, it'll be in the RGB folder. That's where you're going to find the regular JPEG and PNGs to use on your marketing materials. Okay, back up to resources. MCAs, I'm not going to cover that. Technology, this is going to be the exact same page as if you were to click on technology or tech-enabled agent up here at the top. Okay, apparently not. Okay, so resources and technology. This is going to be a lot of places to find stuff about what's going on with KW technology. It's here under technology. It's under technology here in each of these sections. We'll go more about each of these sections in a minute. Under that, we've got leverage. Leverage in KW means hiring, leverage time, leverage your time as an agent and your admin's time to do things that an admin can do versus what only you can do as the agent and the business owner and the business builder. Leverage is hiring. That's, what is that called? Career visioning. That whole process is where you're going to find what you're going to find here in leverage. For information about profit share, definitely talk to your team leader. They can talk more about how you get rewarded for building KW and making it productive. And then there's also vendor search for different services for real estate agents provided by KW International. So you've got business cards, home warranties, AdWorks, Avis Rentals even, BrandCo for customizing your Playster website, contacting Dotloop. All of these things are deals that KW has with these different vendors for you as an agent to get a better deal on their services and their products. Okay, coming up here to Ask Agents. This is a forum. This is where you can ask other agents questions about building your building your business, services that they provide, maybe things about scripts or templates or things like that. Unfortunately, it's devolved into just broadcasting referrals and broadcasting open houses, which is stupid. I know I'm not supposed to use that word on a live webcast, but it is kind of dumb that people are broadcasting the referrals here versus where they're actually supposed to do it over in the referrals section. If you want to work with referrals, go to referrals, not here in Ask Agents. So if you guys would help me transform this back into what it's supposed to be, where it's a forum to ask questions and get helpful answers about your business, about being a real estate agent, things like that, and posting those questions here, you're welcome to do that. Okay, coming over to technology. We've got our tech-enabled agent, which is going to have a lot of the same stuff from that technology page we were at before. It's just going to look a little different. Keller Cloud. Okay, so Keller Cloud page here is the exact same thing basically as clicking technology here. Videos about, guess what, KW technology. Labs dashboard, leadership tech guide, I'm not going to cover that. Technology.kw.com is going to have a lot of the same information. We'll go back. I'm sorry I'm skimming over all the technology stuff, but that's, you know, we have ad nauseum other information about all this technology stuff, and there's a lot of the same information in different places around here. I do want to point out answers.kw.com. This is KW International's knowledge base. So if you have a question about finding something within my KW or doing something within Command, or specific things that you're looking for, maybe working with your KW email or creating an alias or things like that, you can find that in answers.kw.com. And then for ideas.kw.com, I want to click on that because this is where you get to influence what goes on, what gets developed, what gets added in Command and Kelly and things like that. So what we're doing here is we're suggesting and voting on ideas. So right here, we've got 1,977 votes from this guy who wants to be able to print labels from Command the way that you can in eEdge. There's another one that wants to show more than 50 contacts at a time when you're in the contact section of Command, and I would love that too. 100 and 500 rows, or just have it live continue to load as you scroll down. Married couples is actually kind of working. Maybe not necessarily with these two items here. So if you have an idea for what you'd like to see in Command or Kelly or things like that, you can share it here, or if you search for it like labels, if you start typing that, it's going to bring up results for people that have already posted things about labels. So this is a duplicate idea. It tells you that. Mailing labels. So vote for an existing. So you can vote for things that people have already suggested that are in line with what you're trying to suggest, or you can post your own idea and have people vote on that as well. Okay, going back to KWConnect. So like I said earlier, we are going to skip the referrals section here. We do have a separate class covering that that we're going to be doing on the 5th Wednesday of the month, but we do also have it recorded. It's the referrals, chats, and groups in KW Command. And then over here in growth, I'm going to start with the growth initiative to help define what the career growth initiative is. Growth initiative is essentially boiled down how KW went from just being KW to being the #1 real estate company in the country in agent count, production, and volume. So it's a prescription for how team leaders and market center leadership were supposed to help build the company. It had scripts, it had specific instructions, it had tools, it had pipelines and things like that, and it has been proven to work. There is zero doubt that KW is the #1 real estate company, and it's because of the growth initiative. So what happened is a couple of years ago, KW International transitioned the growth initiative into the career growth initiative. It took the already proven infallible principles of the growth initiative and translated them to being able to be used in each individual agent's business to help you build your own business versus building KW International as a company. So definitely get into the career growth initiative, take advantage of those tools, take advantage of the planning, take advantage of the scripts, because it will guaranteed help you build your business. It's definitely guaranteed by KW International. It's already been proven by KW International to build your business. That's another big part of how they became the #1 real estate company, is through the career growth initiative. So if you want more information about that, check that out with your market center leadership. And then I believe these last 3 options may not be available to you as an agent. Scott has an admin role, so he's going to be able to see the growth resources and the leadership opportunities and the expansion. If you can't see those, don't worry. It's because you're an agent, you don't have an admin role. But what these are is, this is resources for building KW, opportunities for leadership, so transitioning into leadership roles or across different market centers or things like that. And then there's expansion, which is opening your own market centers basically, or expanding your team into an already existing market center. Okay, so the last thing we're going to cover is pretty important. Let's go back to the homepage here, and we're going to talk about search here in KWConnect. It's a very important thing to be able to do, and if you're not familiar with how search works in a general sense, it's going to be tough to find the things that you want to find here in KWConnect. So here's where I'm going to open it up for some suggestions for things that you guys want to see, what you want to search for. So if you would send those over in the chat window, I'll be looking for those. In the meantime, I'm just going to go search for FSBO script. And by default, what it's going to go to is the All Types section, and it's going to show content from both KW International and KW Associates, and it's going to be sorted by newest first. This is not really the most helpful way to sort this, so I'm going to change this by, either highest rated or most popular. These are going to be roughly the same, but most popular here is #1 KW Resource Toolkit. That is sort of tangentially related here, but we're going to go down here to create a system to secure listings, and that's going to be information about systematizing, kind of automating getting listings, where you're always going to do the same things, and it's typically going to result in getting some continuous listings in your inventory. There's also how to use scripts. There is a listing presentation, KW websites resources for that. I'm going to change this to, instead of most popular, I'll do highest rated here. Seller objection handler. My home is worth more. Uploaded by Aaron Armstrong. This appears to be a video where he talks with a seller and informs them about unrealistic expectations about their value, their home's value. That's one of the #1 things working with sellers that people have a problem with, is you shoot them a figure for what they want to list for, and because you're the real estate agent, you're the professional, you're the expert, it's more than likely going to sell for this price and quickly. If they list it too high, it's going to stay on the market longer, and they're probably going to end up having to lower it anyway. So if they want to sell faster, they want to list it at a reasonable price. So you can talk about that in there. There's an expired script, something that was previously listed with another agent and now it's no longer listed with that agent. Here is a FSBO script specifically. We can actually even for sale by owner. And you guys definitely send over what you want me to search for here. I'm going to run out of ideas here. Again, this is newest first. Let's do highest rated. And if we come down here, there's that same one there. Here's that FSBO one higher up here. Here's another FSBO script. I don't know who Jeff Glover is, but I expect he's important. Sound quality differences between built-in microphones and external microphones when you're on the phone. So you may want to, if you're having trouble with people hearing you, trouble with being clear, may be an important thing to look at. Who is this? Stephen, I can't read his name there, is talking with Gary about his success with FSBOs and expireds. You might want to learn from this mega agent here who evidently knows what he's doing, and he's passing on wisdom to everybody else here. Another one that we get questions about is, what is that called? Listing presentation. So we'll search that. So again, it's going to do newest first. I don't know why it does that. We'll do highest rated. I don't know what expired script has to do with listing presentation. I did search listing presentation. I changed what it searched, right? Yeah, listing presentation. I don't know. Let's try, oh, you know what? Let's go to documents. That's the problem. So here is a pre-listing presentation somebody uploaded. It's their version that you can download and edit and use with your clients. Same here. Pre-appointment buying presentation. That's a buying presentation. You people are listing your stuff wrong. Here's another listing presentation. Here's one from Ignite. Another listing presentation. So if you want templates, there are beaucoup of them here in KWConnect. That's going to do it for our KWConnect overview. This should be available hopefully in just a couple of hours at slmtraining.com at the latest tomorrow. Everybody have a great day.